Yeah, it was completely left in the hands of other talented people. It was the first time something about Bella wasn't solely my responsibility, which made me really nervous. It was really great prosthetic and really, really great CGI. And I'm really glad that they pushed it as far as they did, because I wanted it to be really extreme, because it's important to see her get close, like within inches of death, because she's been claiming to be willing to go there for, the whole series. And I'm proud that everyone wasn't afraid to have their main character look like crap for half a movie. You know what I mean? I think I was the most comfortable with this one because she's the most comfortable.
Right.
There's nothing confused about it. I mean, it was a struggle to play the first 3 films because there's such a struggle. Everything is like, why am I filled with these convictions and feelings that I just don't really know are going to work out, and I can't really always explain everything. And in this one, she can explain everything in with a look. It's like she's so become herself. I mean, she's the clearest version of herself that she's been. And I think the dark aspects. I mean, dark is hard to like. Wait, like I like things that are not easy. But I think one of the really difficult things in this movie was to get light. I mean, I 2 main things about this role that I wanted to get across were initially the lightness and the ease, and almost being dumbly happy, like just absolutely gone. And then for the next part, I wanted to seem I didn't like when everyone's around her, sort of disagreeing with her decisions, and I just didn't. I wanted her to seem untouchable rather than like defiant. I wanted her to seem just like, you don't even need to say anything. No one's gonna touch me. Do you know what I mean? It's and so like almost messiah. Like what is going? Who has possessed her? Do you know what I mean? Like something's inside of her, literally. Yeah. So those 2. Yeah. But the darkness, I'm not sure. It's hard to like define. I don't even know. Yeah. So it's kind of a physiological reaction to the weight of the situation. I don't think it's a mental thing. I don't think that she's having any doubts. She's not going, oh my God, suddenly I feel like I don't want to marry him. I just think it's, everything is built to this moment, and she's decided it, and it's sort of that natural thing. You sign your name on the contract, and then you go, hope that was a good idea. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's only natural to have a bit of anxiety before going into something that's going to change the rest of your life. And as soon as she sees him, it fades. I mean, there's nothing. That's, as soon as she sees him, actually, that's when the clarity begins for the rest of the movie, that she's never confused again, really. Other than when he doesn't agree with her. No, I was only nervous because, not nervous, I just had, I was worried. I was just worried that it was going to be really good and, sexy, like it had to be. It's weird when you start something with expectations. Usually it's, it's important in a series like this when you're so committed to source material. And I am really, Bill calls me the book Nazi. And at the same time, you have to find things naturally. It doesn't really coincide, but it's it's a challenge. So the sex scene, the honeymoon thing, everything, it was so important. I kind of had to just forget about it and find and have faith that the fact that I've done all of these movies, it was going to find its way into my body. It was going to be what it should be. Well, it's corn syrup, so I would say the blood. The ocean was beautiful. Yeah, it was really disgusting, actually. It was just like really awful, thick. I love Bill so much. I think I'm so thankful that he did the last installment, because I think he had everything that it needed without having to even think about it. He holds his heart in his hands. I mean, it's like, out of all of the confusion of the past movies and all of the angst and the detachment between the characters, we needed to hit the love story again in a very, very impactful, real way that wasn't going to seem corny, Twilighty. Like, everyone thinks it's just a romance novel, basically, but not everyone. A lot of people have that impression, and the reason I think it works in this is because he believes in it so much that it's contagious. And I just think that nobody else could have done such a classic wedding love story. He loved our characters as much as we did. So it was like, I love him. And also, he wasn't afraid of really going there when it got dark. I love him. I would do anything with him. At the end of the movie, I was from my waist down in a wetsuit and bathing suit. My producer didn't want to go in the water. And I made sure he got wet that night. I thought that was awesome. That sort of sums up how happy I was at the end. I've never been more like, I had light shooting out of my pores when I finished that movie. The reason I feel compelled to do movies is because of whatever feeling you get when you read it, and to have 4 years of not being done, it constantly weighs on you. You're always thinking about going back and finishing the series. And so it just felt, it's funny, it wasn't emotional. Like the wedding scene wrapping in Vancouver, that was emotional. Everyone was there. It was kind of heavy. I wasn't finished yet. We still had one more scene in the Virgin Islands. There, I was so happy and like, I kind of can't think of any other word than like just I'm so happy, just running around like hugging everyone, and they're all like, Kristen, you're soaking wet. Yeah, definitely. Every day you come home from work, you go like, God, I wish I could do yesterday again because I'm better now. I mean, to have such a long, like I said, to have 4 years of the same characters, it's the biggest challenge and the biggest indulgence. No, I know that I don't seem like the type of person that really loves to be in the center of things, but anyone to deny the type of energy, like the effect of shared love is, you'd have to be a sociopath not to let it in. As an actor, your life is so wrapped up in your job. It's not normal. People's jobs don't affect their whole lives. Mine, like, is why I love my life. And so to talk about it to you guys, sometimes to everyone, it's sort of, and know that it's not just you guys. I'm actually talking through you to the fucking world. It's really scary at first, and now it's not, only because I'm used to it. Yeah. It just takes time. But she was sort of born to be there. I mean, for me, the fourth one is the most fun because she's finally gotten there. It's just, she's like, we deal with things in the first 4 movies that are, as much as you could take the supernatural aspect out and sort of still find a way to go, well, I could be in that position. I could be 21 and want to have a baby and have my whole family think that I shouldn't. And there are so many things that are so easily relatable. But in the 5th one, it is vampire world. Like, it's just fun. They're connected, absolutely. And I can't give away why, but there's always been a reason that they've been so drawn to each other, and they were just confused about why. And I think it's pretty common. I mean, that happens to a lot of people. And it's that divine faith, that weird, dumb faith that Bella has in knowing that things are going to work out for whatever reason that, he just doesn't have. The poor guy is like, kind of delusional until he realizes it. In fact, Taylor did such a good job at maintaining that. Like, at some point it would get like, dude, clearly you're acting. I mean, he's so earnest. Mm-hmm. And in this, when things become a little bit more honest and I'm, very clearly not with him, I really love how their story ends in this. Their relationship is like so evolved. You know what I mean? It's very, it's very mature. I really love them. They're so solid. In fact, it almost pisses off Rob how much I love how much I love Jacob and Bella. Yeah, it's her best friend. I mean, it's just also that scene, they're sort of saying goodbye a little bit, and so they're saying a lot more than the words are actually saying. It's yeah. I think having that loyalty to your gut, and having faith that if you have a feeling that you're not necessarily able to define yet, that you'll find the words to give it that gestation period. You know what I mean? To be like, hold on, I know something, just leave me alone. I love that about her. I think she's very strong. Honestly, I really don't, I haven't thought about it. I don't think about it. I don't see Edward as a vampire. He's sort of just this weird, different creature. You know what I mean? It doesn't, I guess if you sit down and figure out why our desires come from, like, why vampires are so popular, I suppose, it says something about about a certain group of people, and I guess I could be included in that. But I don't have a particular fascination with vampires. It's just this. I think it's funny. I'm constantly asked, like, oh, now that you're in a position to greenlight films, you want to start being a producer? And I'm like, well, it is really amazing that I'm in a position to. I've been a working actor for so long. I love being an employee. I really love following. But now I've been working on Snow White and just the nature and on the but particularly Snow White has been, because of the accelerated process, I've sort of had much more involvement than typically an actor is allowed to have. And just because I have a really great relationship with the director, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing, like, God, I want that. I want it really badly. And I'm not the type to put my name on something just because I got money for it. You know what I mean? A lot of actors love to start producing things, like, without really producing them. And I think if I'm ever going to make something for myself, if I'm ever actually going to put my name on something, I want it to be something that I can claim. But yes, I can't wait to do that. I'm dying to do that. I can't believe I got the part. I mean, she's the polar opposite to me, especially like how people perceive me. Yeah. She couldn't be more different. I met Walter Salles right after I did Twilight, and it hadn't come out yet. And I knew, like, based on that meeting, there was just, I mean, I don't have the word is just so, it doesn't do it, but he's the most stirringly inspirational person I've really kind of ever worked with. And I knew instantly that he knew that I liked the book for the same reasons that he liked it. And it was my first favorite book. It was what started me reading. I was like 13 or 14 when I read it, and so I kind of don't even have the words to describe the opportunity to play that part, what that means for me. And yeah, I mean, yes, she's very different, and also the fact that I know more about her than anyone's allowed to know. I've talked to people that nobody else has an opportunity to speak to, and I've spent days with her daughter. We spoke to people that sort of gave us gifts that we could never get in any other position, and it by far is the coolest thing I have ever done in my life. Like, and I totally thank Walter for that. Let me see. Taylor. Taylor is very confident when he's sitting in this little chair. But he gets nervous. I mean, he's like, I love doing stuff with him. I love doing interviews with him because he makes me feel really comfortable. As soon as we sit down, it's like, oh God, okay, cool. Not while he's doing it, but beforehand. Okay. Maybe not this, but like before we've gone out, we did the Oscars together. Yeah, we presented at the Oscars, and he was more nervous than I was, which I just never, ever, ever expected. And I looked like I was nervous, and he didn't. I wasn't nervous, and he was. It was ridiculous.